There's no opposition. You see, and these men, maybe they have done certain evil that we don't know. It seems they fear Tinubu in a way that they should fear God, their creator. There's no opposition. Who are the opposition leaders? I don't want to call them cowards, but there's no opposition in the country. Nasir El-Rufai is in detention. What have they been doing? What have they said? There's no opposition in the country. There's no opposition at all. The only opposition you can see is from the masses that once in a while, once they become frustrated, they react. The kind of role VDM is playing in this country, Sowore is playing in this country. If you put all the governors in, well, they are not even governors in opposition. If you put all the opposition leaders together, they are not playing half of the role of VDM. Half. What I mean is that all the opposition leaders, you put them together, not playing the role of VDM. All, they are not playing half of the role of Sowore. So if you are talking about heroes in this country, you call VDM, you call Sowore, Randy Peter, Mama P. These are the heroes in this country. Oh Lord, all these opposition leaders, they don't even have capacity to lead.
All right, our guest on today's edition of Naija Unfiltered, a SYMFONI podcast, is NANS President, Comrade Atiku Isa. Comrade, wants to have you again.
Thank you very much for having me.
It's a pleasure. It's been a while since the last time we met.
Yes.
All right, you walked into Sokoto Prison and sat with Nnamdi Kanu. What exactly did you go there to do or to achieve? Ordinary Nigerians are asking if this is a political mission or a personal visit.
It was not a political mission. It was a personal visit, a visit to tell Nigerians that we are all in this struggle to ensure that justice and the right thing is done. We would continue to fight injustice in this country. I believe that Nnamdi Kanu is not supposed to be in prison. I believe he is there for political reasons, not because he is guilty. He was already found guilty even before the commencement of the trial. He knew that that was how the judgment was going. And the pronouncement of certain personalities like Oji Uzor Kalu and some leaders from the southeast attest to that, because it was hypocritical of Senator Oji Uzor Kalu when he said that we should allow the judiciary to go on. Meanwhile, when he was sent to prison, he did not allow the judiciary to continue with their work. He used the political means to set himself free, even though there are the corruption allegations against him. To the best of my own knowledge, this is based on my personal understanding, they are real. He was supposed to be in prison, but due to political considerations, he was released. In the case of Nnamdi Kanu, I believe he is not supposed to be in prison. I give reasons for that. Whatever you will accuse Nnamdi Kanu to have done, Igboho did worse than that. Today, he's a free man. Whatever you will accuse Nnamdi Kanu to have done, Sheikh Zazaki did worse than that. He is a free man. Zazaki from the north, Igbo from southwest. Then why is Nnamdi Kanu in prison? That's why one of the respected traditional rulers, in the presence of President Tinubu and other traditional rulers, he did mention this, and I was very happy. I can't remember his name again. And that is the kind of leader that we need in this country, to tell authority the truth. Whatever you are accusing, he said that the Igboho and Nnamdi Kanu, they are the same. They are doing the same. They did the same thing. But I believe that that Nnamdi Kanu has not committed any offense. He is there maybe probably because he's an Igbo man, and if this country has to move forward, we have to be treated equally. And if there's no equal treatment to all Nigerians, there can never be peace. We need justice. Is that justice that, yes, that if you claim that Nnamdi Kanu, yes, erred, and Igboho, Agzazaki, they also erred, they were forgiven. So Nnamdi Kanu should also be forgiven, or clemency, since there's a court pronouncement now. But we all know in Nigeria that the judiciary is the most corrupt institution we have, followed by higher institutions of learning. The most corrupt institution is the judiciary, followed by higher institutions of learning in Nigeria. So there's nothing good that can come from the judiciary. They take orders from the presidency, including...
Are you saying from a position of information or data available to you, or just your perception?
No, it's not my perception. There was a data that was released by one of statistics that was carried out, and the data was released, and it accused the judiciary to be the most corrupt, followed by the media. I see the judiciary, I take judiciary first, then high institution of learning, or high institutions of learning, then judiciary. Because, although when it comes to being irresponsible, the high institutions of learning, the lecturers are the most irresponsible.
Why do you say so?
But you see, 60 years old lecturer sleeping with 16, 17 years old girls. I'll give you a specific example. The Faculty of Education in Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria. I want to write to NUC to scrap the entire faculty, because the majority of the lecturers there are random lecturers, very irresponsible. I met with the head of department in the Department of Library and Information Science, Dr. Habibu. I told him, I don't want to mention the name of the lecturer since he's not here to defend himself. He just left the office of dean, the former dean of the Faculty of Education. He said, ladies have been complaining about this dean. He is sleeping around with young ladies, young to be his granddaughters. Talk to him. We cannot tolerate this again. Then he sent one of his boys, who is the PG coordinator in the department, told me that you will not graduate. And true to his word, I have not been able to graduate. I did my defense. They asked me to do corrections. I've done corrections. They are not looking at it. So, and it's not that, the postgraduate studies, it's not like the first degree where you go to class, you write exams. They are not looking at my work. For years, at first, I started a research on information management system for access and tracking of information on kidnapping. I wrote to chapter 3, spent a lot of money, met security agents, got data, did that, he changed the topic. The topic that he approved, that was Professor Muhammad Zakari in the Department of Library and Information Science. He changed the topic. Gave me another topic, I wrote chapter 3, he changed the topic. Wrote chapter 3, another topic again, he changed the topic.
All right, let's return to Nnamdi Kanu. What was your experience with him? What areas did you discuss?
Yes. First, what he said to me, he was very happy. And he was in a very good spirit. He was not in any way disturbed. That shows the character of the man we are talking about. He was very strong. And when he was about to be brought out, I saw when the prisoners heard, they lined up to see their hero, to see a man that is very courageous. He is in a very high spirit, and I told him that we are strongly behind him, because that Nigeria needs him. And we believe he will be released very soon, so that we can work together to see that Nigeria get to the place where we all desire. Because, you see, anybody in his right senses will agitate for what Nnamdi Kanu is agitating for. Why? Treat us equally. It's not an offense. If you are not treating us equally, let us leave. So what is an offense in this? Treat us equally. If you are not treating us equally, let us leave. We can stay on our own. And then you are saying that no, of course he has to agitate for that. This is my own personal view now. If I see any Igbo man campaigning or supporting the APC, my view is that he is either a coward or a hypocrite. If you cannot be a courageous Igbo man, you see, the Igbo people are blessed with courage, but that does not mean that you don't have cowards among them, because you cannot have people, no matter how strong they are, you still have weak ones among them. Yes, the cowards among them are the ones who are supporting APC. Why are you supporting APC? Is it because when I was in DSS custody, the majority of the people there were Igbos, Kanuri, the majority, and around my cell were Igbos. All of them, they say they are IPOB. Let me tell you what it means. Once you have problem with anybody, that's what the DSS. You see, as a matter of fact, I have called on President Tinubu to make the DSS a department of the Nigerian police force. The only thing they do very well, which is why the politicians are keeping them, is to fight or to humiliate perceived enemies of the politicians. That's the only thing they do.
We'll go to that when we talk about the DSS. We'll return to that. Let's look at who authorized their visit. Was there anybody that facilitated their visit from high up there? Because we know that you don't just walk into prison facilities to see anybody, especially for someone like Nnamdi Kanu.
I want to let you know that I am the NANS President. I mobilized there. If they had not allowed me, at first they resisted. I would have remained there. I'll barricade the road. That was my intention of going to Sokoto. You can't expect me to leave Abuja for Sokoto and you don't allow me. I made it clear to the person, to them there. You either allow me or nobody, or you also arrest me and keep me with him. So I made up my mind. That was why when I was going, I didn't go with my car. I didn't go with luggages. I went with 2 clothes so that in preparation for my arrest. And when they try to say that, no, it is weekdays, that you see Nnamdi Kanu only on weekends, I said, I'm not aware of that. Why? Because there is no law that prohibits one from seeing anybody that is imprisoned. Since I know that, I made up my mind that these people, I know they are lawless. Most of the security agencies, with the exception of the military, that I don't really have anything to hold against them, all other security agencies, they are very lawless. Once they have opportunity, they use the power given to them by the Constitution. They misabuse the power and to humiliate innocent citizens. So I'm ready to always resist that. I made up my mind I was going to see him, and it's either I see him or they will arrest me, because I will challenge them. I'll still go and see him again after Salah.
All right. Why with him? Did he tell you anything in terms of your discussion, anything that shocked you, like maybe how he's being treated in the prison?
No, he's not being treated badly. As a matter of fact, they respect him, because I see the kind of courtesy given to him. They talk to him respectfully. That's the prison warders or whatever you call them. They talk to him respectfully. The only thing he showed me was that the judgments that freed him before, and how it is illegal for you to try somebody on the same offense which has been set free before. And he showed me constitutional provisions to support his claim that what they are doing is illegal. They do not have any powers. They don't have anything that is backed by law for them to retry him over what he has been already freed in the courts. And that he also showed me judgment that the court gave for him to be paid certain amount of money for the persecution which he went through. I saw all of those documents with him. He showed me relevant provisions of the Constitution and the offenses they are trying him, and how it is not in line with the laws of the country.
All right, let's move on. I don't know whether you shared with Kanu why he sacked his lawyers, and whether he's been able to re-engage lawyers. If not, how does he intend to pursue his appeal?
Well, even though we didn't discuss that, but he didn't sack them. What happened was that he only relieved them because he saw that it was not a case of that the law was being considered. And lawyers, they discuss based on law and evidence. So when he saw that it was just political persecution, so he realized that there was no need for him to engage lawyers because there was nothing like the law was not involved in deciding his own case. So that was a smart move by Nnamdi Kanu because if law was involved, yes, he would have allowed his lawyers to continue. He didn't sack them. They are still his friends, and he holds them in high esteem.
All right, let's look at some people are saying Kanu's case is being dangled like a bargaining chip for 2027. What do you have to say about this?
Yes, I agree with those who are saying that. Because the truth of the matter is that even with what is going on, the campaign of governors into APC, the presidency, President Tinubu per se, knows that there's no way he's going to win votes in the Southeast if he doesn't release Nnamdi Kanu. So he's playing his card very well to see that maybe close to the election, Nnamdi Kanu will be released, and if maybe, and then so that he can talk to the people. Because as it is today, a lot of people are loyal to him. I know that because during the protest, when we protested before the judgment for him to be released. While the protest was going on, police came, they were throwing tear gas and started shooting at us directly. So we dispersed. All my friends ran away. And I got to a junction where I became afraid because people were gathered there. And at that time, because I still know that those people who abducted me are still trailing me to see how they can still hurt me. So I was alone. So I was afraid. Some guys came to me and said, "Oh, this is Comrade Atiku, the NANS President, who has been fighting for Nnamdi Kanu." I said, "Come, let's go." They took me. I said, "I don't know them." Later I realized these are able guys. They were, in short, one, because my phone was not even with me. And I told one of them, he gave me his phone. And they provided security for me. They say, "You are a great man. We thank you. We appreciate what you are doing." So that shows that people love Nnamdi Kanu. And I now told them, why are you people not protesting with us? Because it was around down area one, where if you are going to around that legislative quarters, where they sell spare parts around there, I've forgotten the name. Apple, thank you very much. Say, why are people not joining? We shouldn't run from this police. Once they go, we should come back saying, the reason why we are being careful is that these people are heartless. That these our shops now will be demolished if we join this protest because they know the majority of us are Igbos. Say, what kind of humiliation is this? Did they create themselves as Igbos? Say they know majority of us here are Igbos. Once we join this protest, they will demolish our shops. That's why we are being careful. We cannot do what people are doing. To them, they think I'm outside. He said, you are Hausa now. They will release you and they won't harm you. But for us, if we do anything, our source of livelihood is gone.
Somebody is tempted to ask, what is the attachment to Nnamdi Kanu?
You see, whenever you are blessed, people want to be like Nnamdi Kanu. You see, it's not by power, it's God's favor for people to have confidence in you, for people to love you. This is what the politicians want. They cannot have it. When he speaks to the people, they listen. Anywhere he comes, he has this charisma that people want to listen to him and obey him. And he has, with that, of course, he will have many enemies. With that alone, that blessing from God alone attracts enmity. And that's why the powerful ones who want to control the people, the kind of influence he has. He's not forcing people. If Nnamdi Kanu says now, Atiku, I want you to start trekking from Abuja to Sokoto, I'll start trekking. He's not using anything. I'll start trekking, I'll start going. So that's the kind of influence he has of people. And that is why they are afraid and they have kept him in prison.
Let's talk about your ordeal with the DSS. Have the security agencies opened investigations on the matter concerning your abduction, and how far has the matter gone?
I wrote to the DGDSS. I have copies. I have copies here. I think it's even in my file here. I wrote to the DGDSS. I wrote to the Inspector General of Police that I mentioned their names. Lukman Salahuddin, Ladoja, Olushola Ladoja, Usman Baba Kankia from Samaru in Zaria, Omar Farouk from Niger State, Olubenga Adeyeye. I wrote with their phone numbers. Nothing was done.
Are they members of NANS?
You see, NANS, we have touts, cultists, and thugs in NANS. As a matter of fact, I want Nigerians to know, and all those listening to us to know that I left student activism a long time ago. I hold a degree in computer science and a master's in information science. Why should I come back to be in NANS? People persuaded me. They said, Atiku, we know that you are strong, you are courageous, you are not a cultist, but you can fight cultism. Come and sanitize the organization. I said, no, I've passed this stage in my life. So this stage you are saying you have passed, it can destroy the entire country. If really you are sincere, come back and contest one us. I said, okay, I don't even have the money because it requires a lot of money. They said they were going to help me, support me financially, and then talk to other persons. That was how I emerged as NANS president. I have always stood for justice. Then after the whole thing, in DSS custody, they took me to a court, and the case died down like that. It should not die down like that. This should be investigated. It should be investigated. What kind of country are we? You just...
Your interest is that the case be investigated.
Investigated. If it's not investigated, I will still continue to accuse Seyi Tinubu in my heart that he sent these people, and what Seyi should know is this. He is not learning from history. When the late General Sani Abacha was head of state, Al-Mustafa and others, according to what people said, and according to what the late professor of criminology said, that they humiliated him. And some journalists also said that even Muhammad Abacha participated in it. What happened to him? When his father died, he was imprisoned. His mother Mariam Abacha was running from left to right, begging people. It was out of pity for Mariam Abacha that Muhammad Abacha was released. Seyi should know. I am telling the world today, I have no doubt in my mind, Seyi will go to prison. Keep this record. Whether they succeed in killing me or they don't kill me, what is sure is that he will go to prison. Else, the only thing that will save Seyi from going to prison, there are two things. This matter be investigated and should be compensated, because I have reported him to the highest authority. It is not because they macheted me that I cannot use my hand to write again. I can't write. If I'm writing, you see that you think I just started a boy in primary school. Sometimes when I go to bank to write, and my friends are with me, they say, bring your pen, let's help you to write. I have one of the best handwritings. But because they macheted me here, I can't hold pen very well. So I try to, because this hand is not actually working. This one with ring is not working. I was humiliated in DSS custody by the same person who is very powerful in the country. But what he has forgotten is that the most powerful is God Almighty. And that's why I have reported him to God, and you will see he will go to prison if this
right.
is not done.
Let's go on. Nasir El-Rufai has become a victim of opposition. He's facing EFCC, ICPC charges, and has been in detention for over a month without trial. As someone who has also suffered detention and state harassment, is this a warning shot to strong figures planning to oppose Tinubu in 2027? What is your take on this?
Well, it is very pathetic. If there's one thing President Tinubu has done very badly, is the weakening of institutions. He has been using institutions of government against citizens. There's no constitutional provisions that gives you the power to put somebody in detention without trial. the security agencies are not acting responsibly. Before making arrest, you are supposed to have concluded your investigation. As you are picking the person, and especially a high-profile personality like this, yes, we know Nasir El-Rufai must have done some things in the past that are not in order. But that does not justify what you are doing to him. That is a former governor, a former minister. You don't humiliate important personalities and think the country will move forward. It is very bad. I want to use this opportunity to call on President Tinubu to direct immediately the release of Malam Nasir El-Rufai. He should be released immediately. There's nothing against him. If you have something against him, why should they keep him for about a month? Take him to court. You don't have to like somebody. Okay, that was the same thing Malami did while he was Attorney General. You can see what he's suffering today. Malami, when Dasuki was given judgment to be released, refused to release Dasuki. What he should have done as AGF was to go back to the court, because there's a judicial precedent that would have allowed him to get another judgment that will keep Dasuki in the custody. What judgment? There's a judicial precedent in the case between FGN and Asari Dokubo. When Asari Dokubo went to court on the basis of the violation of his fundamental human rights, the court decided that when a person is a security threat to the country, the issue of fundamental human rights can be set aside. So he was a threat, according to the ruling then, to the country, and as such, his fundamental right to freedom was set aside. And then he was still incarcerated. So, based on that judgment, AGF could have gone to court, but because Malami had no respect for the judiciary, for the court's decision, he just decided that Dasuki will not be released. See what he's facing today. In short, if not because I do not support injustice, but personally, I would have been happy for Dasuki to remain in prison.
Dasuki or Malami?
No, Malami to remain in prison, because that was what he did. He was abusing court decisions, judgments, because he was AGF then. See what is happening to him now. What Tinubu should know is that at most, even if he wins, in the next 6 years, he will not be president. Even if he wins or he rings himself into office in 2027, he will not be president. So what will happen to him? If he's not dead, he can still be in prison. He might be the first president that will be in prison. Because you cannot behave in this way and think that when President Muhammadu Buhari was alive, Nasir El-Rufai was very powerful. But see what is happening? Less than 3 years, he's in detention today. So all of these people should know, don't use the institutions against a single person. It will haunt you in the nearest future. Release. You don't have to like the people. Even if you don't like somebody, do the right thing, so that when you are no longer powerful, nobody will use the same institution against you. What they don't know is that, okay, anybody can become president tomorrow.
Do you think the opposition is doing enough to check this government, or you support those that said opposition is dead in Nigeria right now?
No, there's no opposition. You see, and these men, maybe they have done certain evil that we don't know. It seems they fear Tinubu in a way that they should fear God, their creator. There's no opposition. Who are the opposition leaders? I don't want to call them cowards, but there's no opposition in the country. Nasir El-Rufai is in detention. What have they been doing? What have they said? There's no opposition in the country. There's no opposition at all. The only opposition you can see is from the masses that once in a while, once they become frustrated, they react. The kind of role VDM is playing in this country, Sowore is playing in this country, If you put all the governors in, well, they are not even governors in opposition. If you put all the opposition leaders together, they are not playing half of the role of the VDM. Half. What I mean is that all the opposition leaders, you put them together, not playing the role of VDM. All, they are not playing half of the role of Sowore. So if you are talking about heroes in this country, you call VDM, you call Sowore, Randy Peter, Mama P. These are the heroes in this country. Oh Lord, all these opposition leaders, they don't even have capacity to lead. Because if you have capacity to lead, you should have courage. If you are not courageous, you can't lead.
All right. As a frontline activist, which would you think is more dangerous to Nigeria's democracy? Corrupt politicians or compromised electoral system?
Compromised electoral system is more dangerous. Because the corrupt politicians will not be able to get to position of authority if the electoral system is not compromised. It's not that Nigerians are that irresponsible. Sometimes they are not even given the liberty to do what they are supposed to do. This compromised electoral system has killed Nigeria. Many people do not even have confidence in the electoral system. Sometimes they stay behind. I'll give you an example. In Kogi State, where I come from, the Kina local government and of local government alone is more than the entire Kogi Central, where the current governor comes from. The number of registered voters the number of accredited voters in Okene as a 2023 governorship election, in the whole of Okene, the number of accredited, not registered voters, was less than 30,000 or so. Was less than 50,000, in the range between 30 to 40,000 or so. The governor was reported by INEC to have secured lawful votes of over 100,000. When the number of accredited voters was between 30 to 40,000, less than 50,000, it was reported by INEC to have scored over 100,000 lawful votes. Also in Adavio, Okehi, again, over 100,000. We are not talking about registered voters, the number of accredited voters on the day of election. Before the election, the result of the election was filled by the then governor Yahaya Bello, was released by some of his aides who were angry that he didn't choose them as governorship candidate. We saw it, and then it was shown to INEC. INEC said they are not going to accept that. That same result, what we heard, that when money is transferred hand, it was said that when the INEC officials, that was what the information, he said, we get all this information and we believe the information is correct because it is coming from his inner caucus. Those he refused to give governorship ticket, that they thought, because he gave to the least qualified among the aspirants. Because you have a pharmacist, Asuku, who was his chief of staff. You have the AG of the state, Accountant General of the state. But you have a boy to the AG, who the current governor was looking for driving work in the office of the AG. So the AG was his own boss. A driver, somebody that wanted to be a driver. Now the overall boss in the state. So when there was a picture I saw yesterday, when Asuku, the then chief of staff, was campaigning to become governor in 2023, the current governor was among the crowd that was cheering him. So now, those he didn't give the ticket, they are the ones revealing this information because they were among the inner caucus.
Is this in a fairy tale or?
Not a fairy tale. This information came out from those. You see, to get information about him now is very easy because he had promised, he promised his then deputy governor, Edward Onoja, who was his very close friend, asked him to go and buy form. He promised his chief of staff. His chief of staff was even thinking that he was going to be the next governor because I belong to the same group. He was very arrogant. He was almost abusing everybody, thinking he was going to be a governor. Now, he told his accountant general to buy form of 50 million. Told about 10 people to buy form. Then bought form for Ahmed Ododo. They didn't know. Why was Ahmed Odo picked? Because he was the least qualified. He is the least exposed. And as you can see, even as governor, he is more or less like an errand. It's not more or less, it's just an errand boy. If Yahaya Bello says to him today, maybe what I feel, because, I said then, and there's nothing that has made me, there's nothing available to me now for me to shift my position. That his belief in fetishism is so high that there's nothing he cannot do. So maybe they could have taken oath, blood oath, that's making the governor to be like, because if he tells the governor, because he's still living in government house, a highly placed security expert told me this, that he lives in the same room where he was living as governor. If he tells the governor, the current governor, of course, when it comes to money, according to those close to him, that he gets 2 billion every month from Kogi State coffer, every month. And if he tells the governor to divorce his wife today, he will do that. So if it's not blood oath, what will make a man to be behaving like this? Is not loyalty again. Even your father you should not be loyal to your father to this point where everything he says, even God did not say everything your father says. You have to honor and respect your father, but it must not be everything he says. So that is the situation we have found ourselves. Men who have no honor. The majority of the governors in Nigeria have no honor. And what it takes for you to win election in Nigeria is for you to be dishonorable and very irresponsible. The more irresponsible you are, the better your chances of winning election in Nigeria.
All right. Do you think Nigeria's democracy is still democracy, or has it quietly shifted into something else?
No, it is something else, but we need the correct term to describe it. Because you cannot say it's monarchy, because it is not. You cannot say it's democracy, because it is not. Because one of the most important elements in any democratic governance is election. And what we have in this country now is not election, it's selection. So if in democracy you don't select, and sometimes I don't know what to say, whether to call it selection or affirmation. Like I was speaking with a journalist, that you have to come back to the country so that we work together and see that the right thing is done. So no, that okay, that during the next election, so no, don't call it election. During the next 2027 affirmation. I said, who are those to be affirmed? I said, those in power today, they will be affirmed and they will continue.
Let's wrap up this way. What are the feelers from the North as we head into 2027?
2027, I don't know why the security agencies are not telling President Tinubu the true position of things. In the entire of the Northwest and Northeast, there's no single state where President Tinubu can secure 20% votes. 20%. Why the places he will secure 15%, close to 20% votes, will be the places where you might get 15 to 20% in Kanu because of people like Barau Jibri, Honorable Ilyasu Musa Konkoso, and Ganduji's influence. Because these men I have called, they are strongly behind him. Others are just waiting to cash out. The entire of the North, apart from Kano, where I have these 3 men, they have a lot of supporters. Honorable Ilyasu Musa Konkoso is a grassroots politician who is a relative of Rabiu Musa Konkoso. He has always defeated Konkoso in his village. So he's a very strong person, and he's not very known at the national level because, at the national level, you need to know how to speak English very well. And in Kano, if you speak better English, your electoral value decreases. So it's not good English that they need there. So, but at the national, they pick those who can speak good English. So the best politician for now in Kano is Honorable Ilyasu Musa Konkoso, followed by Barau Jibri, because Barau Jibri has been empowering people and all of those things. And then Ganduji, being a former governor.
All right. Thank you very much. We have to wrap up here. Thank you very much. Maybe some other times we'll look in details political developments in the North as it affects to 2027.
Thank you very much for giving
pleasure
this
having
opportunity.
you on the program.